in this beer. Streaming on Kick, Ock Nation News, Ock Nation Gold, and X. We are in the building. Holla at me. Where you at? Oh. Yeah, man. Live. What's happening? Yeah, man. Make sure you sign up for the Kick, man. If y'all wanna oh yeah, I gotta put the Kick information in the description box. That's what I gotta do. That's what I gotta do, man. I gotta put the Kick information in the description box, man. I gotta put my Kick information in the description box. Oh man, yesterday was a good show, man. Great show yesterday, man. Great show yesterday. Great show. Um, gotta I gotta edit my yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm telling you. If you love me, tell me you love me. Don't stare at me, man. I hate to go to the can for clapping one of my fans. Yeah, man. I had to edit my description box. My description box was very outdated, man. Yeah, man. I had to edit my description box. My description box was very outdated. Damn. A lot of stuff that I needed to update on that joint, man. Um, wow. People, we don't change stuff until we have to, man. We don't change stuff till we have to, man. That's how we are, man. That's how people are, man. We don't change stuff till we have to. Damn. My description box was like a year outdated. That's crazy. You had a bunch of shit in there that did not even mean a thing. All right, here we go. We good now. Um, let's go.
Yeah, those victims and the victims' families are already going through so much while dealing with a traumatic experience. And that push tomorrow in Harrisburg aims to give those victims some additional resources and protections while they're going through those tough times.
My why for this work
Whoa.
is that
God
I'm a
damn.
survivor
Philly.
myself of domestic.
What is up with Philly, man? Philly, stop. Yeah, I need to have a Philly. Come here. Come here, Philly. This shit is uncanny, man. This shit is uncanny, Philly. Philly. Get over here, Philly. And make sure y'all support the channel, man. Hit the PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. We've had like 6 great shows in a row, man. Very informative, man. Information you can only get anywhere else. We debunked lynching last night. Shout out to S Freak. I need you to drop that again. Drop that paperwork in the back chat again when you get a chance. If you hear S Freak, because I want to save that. I didn't save it. She said she's Philadelphia pretty. God, oh, man. Why? Why y'all like that, man?
While they're going through those tough times.
My why for this work is that I am a survivor myself of domestic violence, sexual assault.
Life has not been easy for Yolanda Jennings. In 2004, she says her sister was stabbed to death by her fiance during a domestic violence dispute. Then in 2019, she says her cousin was shot and killed by the father of her children. And in 2024, she says police shot and killed her son while he was having a mental health crisis.
How does one...
Damn. Jesus Christ. That's a rough life, man.
Stabbed to death by her fiance during a domestic violence dispute. Then in 2019, in 2004, she says her sister was stabbed to death by her fiance during a domestic violence dispute. Then in 2019, she says her cousin was shot and killed by the father of her children. And in 2024, she says police shot and killed her son while he was having a mental health crisis.
How does one get through their day-to-day life dealing with so much trauma?
Well, one, God. My faith is paramount to my survival. I could not do it if I did not have my faith. And then being able to help people every day, knowing that all the things that I've gone through, that now I can help somebody else get through their trauma.
That's why Tuesday morning, Yolanda and a coalition of crime victims, community members, and advocates with the Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice will bring their voices to Harrisburg to meet with state leaders. the group pushing for 3 bills to get passed through Harrisburg. The first, House Bill 72, which will provide tenants rights in cases of violence. The second, House Bill 1042, offering nonviolent offenders vocational and education credit while serving time. And House Bill 964 aims to provide employment leave for victims and their families of violence.
We're hoping to share with them our stories, to put a face on the people who need these services, because we are all survivors and nobody can tell our story better than us.
In 2022, the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence says 119 people died because of domestic violence in the Keystone State.
Christ.
The organization reports it serves about 90,000 people in Pennsylvania.
The man said, she gonna put a face on it, y'all. She gonna put a face on the issue, man. My man said, he said, I want the Dr. Umar, man.
In 2022, the Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence says 119 people died because of domestic violence in the Keystone State. The organization reports it serves about 90,000 people in Pennsylvania a year.
The whole society, is affected by these things. And so we just want to make sure that people get the resources that they need.
The organization tells me they're also going to Harrisburg tomorrow, looking to secure $5 million to build 3 new trauma recovery centers in Pennsylvania.
Let me put the chat on the screen, because somebody might see this in the future and think I'm laughing at these people, man. I gotta put the chat on the screen, man. I don't want nobody to think I'm laughing at these people if they see this. Oh, Lord. Jesus. Hamada Bosha.
The other in Pittsburgh and Altoona. There's only one right now in PA.
We are following renewed concerns over youth crime in Baltimore tonight after police announced the arrest of 4 teens in a coordinated gun seizure.
Police say they found at least 5 guns, including a fully automatic weapon and 3 extended magazines, along with ammo and drugs. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Maxine Stryker. Residents say more and more young people are carrying guns across the city, a reality for anyone in Baltimore to consider.
This generation, they don't really be using their hands a lot, you feel me? So it's really wild to see this generation starting to go to violence using guns. But we live in Baltimore, you never know, so.
Yeah, it's this generation. All this started this generation, right, y'all? All these problems just started 5 minutes ago, right? It's this generation. It was only this generation. Everything was fine in the last generation.
This generation, they don't really be using their hands a lot, you feel me? So it's really wild to see this generation starting to go to violence using guns. But we live in Baltimore, you never know, so.
We're also digging into concerns about safety inside Department of Juvenile Services facilities after an employee described a toxic work environment. Mackenzie Frost has that story in just a moment.
Our team coverage begins with Fox 45's Vincent Hill and the community response to this Baltimore gun arrest. Vincent?
Okay, Maxine, that resident said it best. These teens were ready for war. Now they're behind bars. And a law enforcement expert says an arrest like this goes a long way in preventing other crimes.
In Southeast Baltimore Sunday,
there's a couple units that can stage on the monument just before Carly.
A coordinated effort from Baltimore police targeting potential drug activity.
Just do a gun. He's running to the house. Get around the back.
When it was all over, police arresting 4 teens and recovering this arsenal of weapons: 4 Glock handguns, 2 rifles, extended magazines, and dozens of rounds of ammunition. The suspects, 16, 17, 18, and 19 years old.
We live in Baltimore, you never know, so.
This resident surprised by the amount of guns and what they could have been used for.
Nah, that's a lot. That's a lot of guns, I ain't gonna lie. They was ready to go to war, for sure.
They don't intend to do, little penny ante robberies.
Law enforcement expert Betsy Smith agrees.
This is ammunition designed to kill someone or to do great damage.
Smith says an arrest like this could lead to less crime in the area.
I believe an arrest like this absolutely has prevented, first and foremost, the likely death of someone, armed robberies, burglaries.
Meanwhile, Smith pointing to the bigger issue of kids and guns in Baltimore City.
To think about, especially young people, running around the streets of Baltimore City with that kind of firepower in a neighborhood where there's kids and older people, and it's just unthinkable, and yet that's what Baltimore City residents live with.
Last month, Fox 45 reported that 20 juveniles had been charged with gun-related offenses this year. The latest data shows 25 juveniles have been charged, but Smith says the numbers don't represent reality.
For every offender caught, there's 20, 30, 100, 500 more doing the same thing.
Smith.
Thank you, white lady. This the first white lady I heard that got a little bit of sense. This white lady got a little bit of sense, man. I give it to her.
Reality.
For every offender caught, there's 20, 30, 100, 500 more doing the same thing.
Smith represent reality.
For every offender caught, there's 20, 30, 100, 500 more doing the same thing.
Smith says to prevent that from happening, police need to look at the root cause.
One of the first things that the Baltimore City Police Department is going to look at is gang activity.
While prosecutors make sure others will think twice.
So important that prosecutors take a hard look at this case and make an example of these juvenile offenders.
And speaking of making an example, according to Baltimore police, all of these teens have been charged as adults. For now, we're live in Baltimore. Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video.
Ooh. We going to every city, man. Hopefully we hit your city or your region, man. Make sure you support the channel, the only news channel on YouTube. The only based news channel on YouTube. Make sure you hit the PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Sponsor the show.
Authorities finding Daviante Dixon with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head as he barricaded inside a Southside apartment complex Friday evening. Authorities confirming he did have help hiding from police. The 48-hour manhunt for Daviante Dixon ending at a Thelma Drive apartment Friday evening. Dixon inside the apartment with a woman by the name of Jayla Call and 3 children. The 21-year-old is accused of shooting 2 Mifflin Township police officers during a traffic stop on the city's northeast side last Wednesday. Franklin County Sheriff's Office, SWAT, SIU, and U.S. Marshals searching several homes late last week before finding Dixon on Thelma Drive.
Unfortunately, Mr. Dixon started firing shots at our officers, at least 3 to 5. That's all being determined right now through ballistics.
Authorities not shooting back, knowing there were children involved.
Not the subsequent search warrants, not even at the apprehension site. And to me, that's amazing that not one shot was fired by law enforcement. It shows the restraint and the training that we go through to protect the community.
Dixon was eventually alone in the home where he shot himself. Authorities were able to detain him, where he is still in the hospital Monday. A difficult few weeks for Mifflin Township's police force. Just last year, an officer was stabbed several times. Surrounding departments offering much more than mutual aid during this time.
It's tough to be a member of our agency right now. it's tough to be a member of any law enforcement agency. I mean, like I said, we are all one big family. So when something happens to one, it happens to all. So everyone is struggling, but my remaining officers are positive.
One officer is still in the hospital but is expected to survive. Dixon faces attempted murder and felonious assault charges, with additional charges likely. On your side, Aaron Simonek, ABC 6 News.
Now the woman charged with helping Dixon hide from police was in court this morning. You see her here behind.
Shout out to the white women, man. Glider women, man. Glider women. They make a cute couple too, man. Oh, Lord. Oh, he got a sister judge. Oh, he in good shape.
Attempted murder and felonious assault charges, with additional charges likely. On your side, Aaron Simonek, ABC 6 News.
Now the woman charged with helping Dixon hide from police was in court this morning. You see her here behind me. Bond for Jayla Call was set at $250,000. She's charged with obstruction and tampering. According to the court record, she told detectives she knew Dixon was a fugitive and that he was at her home for several hours before officers arrived. She also admitted to deleting text messages that were between Devontae and his girlfriend.
Since the officers were shot on Wednesday night, there was a collaborative effort to find Dixon. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says it worked with the U.S. Marshal Service, Mifflin Township Police, Columbus Police, the state BCI, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol. The Marshal Service says it is these types of incidents that really bring them together.
Unfortunately, we have been tested several times in the last few months with the continued acts of violence against officers and our community. Each time, our relationships, collaboration, and sharing of resources and information enable us to work through these extremely volatile situations.
Police also say the community really helped crack this case. They say they were flooded with tips, a lot of those coming after a $40,000 reward was offered for information on where Dixon was hiding.
Central Ohio Crime Stoppers, they were outstanding. The FOP said, we're going to put up some money. Crime Stoppers said, we're going to match that. The FBI said, we're going to throw up some money. The amount of tips and calls I received personally to the FOP is overwhelming. Community members saying, hey, I want to help any way I can. What can I do? Can I bring the officer's family food? This community overwhelmingly supports their police.
And while he is expected to survive, police heavily stressing that Devontae Dixon should have been locked up and not on the streets.
Investigator Lisa Rontola has been breaking down Dixon's criminal history for days now. And Lisa, he was convicted on violent gun crimes just last year, but was given probation in that case.
That's right, Rodney. Jessica, today law enforcement responded to my ongoing reporting of Devontae Dixon's sentencing from last year. He was convicted of breaking into his ex-girlfriend's home, threatening her with guns and having a Glock switch. A judge sentenced him to probation when this crime had the presumption of prison, according to law.
Nothing happens to these judges. They just say, oops, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And they go on to the next case. That
Sheriff and police union all agreed in saying the previous sentencing of Devontae Dixon was a failure by the Franklin County court system. Dixon could have faced up to 16 years in prison for his gun convictions and threats of gun violence made to his ex-girlfriend. Instead, he served 6 months in a residential prison diversion program and was required to report to his probation officer for the next 2.5 years after that. Both the defense and prosecuting attorneys agreed to that sentencing. And last week, I showed you this statement sent to me by the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. In part, it reads the defendant was young, from an impoverished area, and had very few prior offenses. Law enforcement responded to this very statement today.
Besides that, we're going to look into how old he was, 21, and that he was from an impoverished community. I do not know what that means. The majority of this violent offenders' victims were from impoverished communities.
I contacted the prosecutor's office again today to ask if the victim also agreed to that sentencing of probation last year. I was told the victim was okay with any decision the prosecutor made. She just wanted Dixon to stay away from her. Another big point here, one of Dixon's convictions last year was having a Glock switch that can convert a gun into an automatic weapon. In federal court, the possession of a Glock switch could lead to a 10-year prison sentence alone. On your side, I'm investigator Lisa Rontola.
Okay. Salute to Darren, man. Shout out to Darren. He says, College Station, Texas.
The city of Snellville is increasing security at Briscoe Park after 2 shootings there over the weekend. 5 teens were shot and taken to the hospital Saturday, and another man shot on Sunday. Fox 5's Kim Leffler spoke with a man who ran to the scene during yesterday's shooting to help the victim. Kim is live with more details.
Yeah, the father tells me that shooting happened in this parking lot. He says he was here to watch a flag football game when he heard the gunshots and jumped into action.
I'm a retired comeback vet, so we trained and ran this way, but I ran this way as a dad.
When Shantae Pitt heard gunshots near a playground his kids were at, he knew he needed to take
He's a retired combat vet.
I'm a retired comeback vet, so we trained and ran this way, but I ran this way as a dad.
When Shantae Pitt heard gunshots near a playground his kids were at, he knew he needed to take action. That's when he found a man shot in the head.
When I looked at him at first, he wasn't talking. His other eye, this eye wasn't open. He was shot on this side.
While Pitt and his family were there for a flag football game, he says the shooting did not involve anyone at the game.
That right there, ma'am, was the dogs. And they was willing to shoot and kill each other around 80 to 100 kids. And that's a problem.
Snellville police say Sunday's shooting was the result of a domestic dispute, with the man shot, now in stable condition. Less than 24 hours earlier, police say 5 teens ages 14 to 17 were also injured after shots rang out during a large gathering of teens Saturday night. Police say those teens are expected to be okay.
We have a bunch of kids and parents that are out here every day. So we just want to make sure that we kind of keep the status quo of a nice, quiet, family-oriented type of park.
Following the 2 shootings, Snellville police are increasing their presence at the park. The city will also implement a lighting and camera plan throughout the park. Changes Pitt says he's glad to see to keep his family and the hundreds of other kids who use the park safe.
For our babies, 80 to 100 of them, to be up here trying to enjoy their flag football on a Sunday afternoon, when I walk back up here to see that on their face, was more of an emotional issue for me. My daughter's crying than anything.
Snellville police have several persons of interest in Saturday's shooting, and they're following up on leads from Sunday's shooting. So far, police have not announced any person or any suspect.
So shooting at a flag football game. Wasn't it a shooting at a track meet in DC that leak? I think it was. I think we did a shooting at a track meet in DC, man. Dude got killed. Then they burned the car up a couple miles away. Now somebody gets shot at. And both times it had nothing to do with the event. It was just some nigga up there who shot somebody. Some nigga up there who shot another nigga who had nothing to. Neither one of the niggas, the shooter or the victim, had anything to do with the event. They just was in the area, just there. Jesus. All this, and think about it. All this going on, you would never know any of this is going on. Press 1. You would never know any of this is going on. And all this is from today. You would never know any of this shit happened.
The hunt is on to find the person responsible who shot and killed a man in Southwest Atlanta. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News at 4. I'm Christine Spiro. It happened last week off Springdale Road near Cleveland Avenue, but overnight, Atlanta police issued an urgent alert asking for help solving the case. Police have identified the victim as 36-year-old Junior Bowen. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is live near the scene with more details this afternoon. Tyler?
Yeah, Christine, good afternoon to you. The 36-year-old man was found dead outside of a unit at this apartment complex Wednesday night. So far, no one has been taken into custody, but police want to change that.
Days after gunfire erupted at the Bolton Village Apartments in southwest Atlanta, leftover police tape is a telltale sign of the crime scene that was here last Wednesday.
It was shocking to me when I seen all the police calls and stuff.
Investigators say officers responded to the complex, which is located on Springdale Road off Cleveland Avenue, just after 11 p.m. on May 28th. Police found the victim shot multiple times just outside of an apartment, but think he was likely shot inside the unit. Sunday night, investigators
Ain't this where Thug from? Young Thug? Cleveland?
times just outside of an apartment, but think he was likely shot inside the unit. Sunday night, investigators identified him as 36-year-old Junior Bowen. Fox 5 spoke to a number of people who live at the complex. No one wanted to show their face on camera, but they say they never expected this here.
No violence over here, nothing like that up until now.
Normally nothing happened out here. It's pretty quiet.
At the same time investigators identified Bowen, they issued this public plea for help solving the case, saying they don't know what led up to the shooting. Investigators say Bowen didn't live at the complex, but two people said they had seen him here before. One neighbor has some concerns about what's happening at the complex.
No one knows who lives over here. That's the main thing. There's probably people who live here who don't have like actual legal binding leases.
People who call Bolton Village home hope police can solve the case.
It's upsetting that somebody would take somebody's life, yeah. And it probably was a small thing, but it was upsetting, but, this is the life you're living in right now.
Investigators are offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. If you know anything, you're asked to call Atlanta police.
Everybody hit the like button right now. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Let's see if we can get some people to take the $7 challenge, man. How many people can we get to take the $5 or $7 challenge? The inflation challenge. 2 men wanted for Brinks. Let's see. Wow. Every night's a violent night in Atlanta. Like, I'm looking at this 4 nights ago. 4 days ago, it says 7 people shot in Atlanta. But tonight, 7 people have been shot in Atlanta. Every night's a violent night in these black cities, man. Jeez.
Our top story tonight, 2 officers shot while responding to a call of an armed man in Baldwin Park. One of those officers was killed. Good evening, everyone. I'm Annabelle Sedano.
And I'm Jonathan Gonzalez. Michael and Colleen are off. Now, tonight, we're learning more about Samuel Riveros' final moments. Right now, a memorial continues to grow in Officer Riveros' memory. This is a live look outside Baldwin Park City Hall. Tonight, new video is shedding light on exactly what happened Saturday night.
NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi joins us live from Baldwin Park with that footage and the latest on this investigation. Hi, Camilla.
Hi, Annabelle and Jonathan. We're hearing more from neighbors here this afternoon who heard those gunshots go off Saturday night. One woman I spoke with says another man that was shot and killed here on the sidewalk in this neighborhood may have been trying to park to go to a housewarming party. A weekend tragedy, leaving people who live here still processing what unfolded. This is a new video shared with NBC4 from a neighbor on Philhurst Avenue. You can hear the gunfire going off. You can also see a police SUV in the middle of the street and then an officer taking cover behind a car.
We heard 3 loud
shots or like bangs. Tamara Ayala was home Saturday night when the shootout erupted. The LASD says the officers were responding to reports of a man with a gun and an unresponsive person lying on the sidewalk. When officers arrived, the LASD says they were met with gunfire by the man with the gun. The alleged gunman has been identified as 22-year-old Eduardo Medina Berumen. Ayala says her neighbors next door were having a housewarming party that evening. The neighbors right here just bought the house a month and a half ago. She tells NBC4 the man found unresponsive in front of her home is believed to have been going to the party and was trying to park on the street. She called 911 after her mom found the man collapsed outside. One neighbor says there was some sort of a parking dispute. The LASD has not confirmed exactly what led up to the initial shooting with the man. The person that was found with apparent gunshot wounds has not been identified. He was attending there with his wife and his kids, but he went to...
So it was a guy. Hold on, let me see if let me listen.
Identified. He was attending there with his wife and his kids, but he went to go park and he ended up dropping them off and then parking somewhere further. And that's when he was walking back this way too. And he didn't make it. Several flowers, candles, and oranges with incense have been placed here on the sidewalk.
So a family bought a house in this neighborhood. They have a housewarming party, invite friends over. Friends come over. That's why you got to know where you live at, man. Friends come over. This guy comes up, one of them comes over with his family, drops him off, goes, parks the car, parks in someone else's parking space who lives in that neighborhood. The goddamn hombrito comes out, they get in some kind of dispute over the parking space. The hombrito shoots him down and then kills a responding officer and dies in that shootout. "22 years old."
NBC4, you can see been identified. He was attending there with his wife and his kids, but he went to go park and he ended up dropping them off and then parking somewhere further. And that's when he was walking back this way too, and he didn't make it. Several flowers, candles, and oranges with incense have been placed here on the sidewalk. In this second ring video shared with NBC4, you can see several officers rushing in to move the man on the ground. Moments later in the video, trying to take it day by day. We used to have gatherings all the time here, and now I don't feel like we're going to be able to keep those traditions because of this. And we are still working to learn more about the man that was shot and killed here in this neighborhood. The LASD says the shooting suspect has been booked on suspicion of 2 counts of murder.
Oh, he didn't die. Oh, the guy who shot the 22-year-old that shot it didn't die. So he killed a cop and a civilian. He didn't die. I thought he went out in the hell of glory. He survived. So he went from chilling in his house or chilling on his porch and seeing someone parking his parking space to a few minutes later having killed the guy who parked in his parking space and killed one of the responding officers and being arrested. I think Ombrito's got problems with impulse control too, man. Not as bad as Sons, but my God.
The actor, known for a popular character on the show King of the Hill, is shot to death in San Antonio. I'm Sarah Forgani with KENS 5 News Now. According to neighbors, Jonathan Joss was killed in a Southside neighborhood.
I would like to point out that it is the neighbors who have told us all this information. The medical examiner still has not officially released the name of the man who is deceased. But these neighbors say they know who he is because they either grew up with him, they went to school with him, they've lived next door to him for years. And the man that is known publicly as Jonathan Joss, his actual full name is actually Gonzalez. He was on the King of the Hill show for many years. He was the character John Redcorn, a very popular character on the show. Now, neighbors say that he actually lived here on Dorsey for a long period of time until his house burned to the ground recently, like several months ago. But they said that he came back here regularly to check his mail, and they say that's what they believe he was doing yesterday afternoon. There's mail scattered on the ground here right near the crime scene. So what neighbors say happened here is the end result of a terrible neighborhood feud. They say that Jonathan and the man who is now charged with murder, Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez, they all call him Freddy. They say these two fellows had a long-standing feud. They argued. They faced off with one another with weapons. They said that Jonathan frequently was armed with a crossbow and that they could hear gunshots coming in the night from both of the houses. Not necessarily that the guys were shooting at one another, but there was just a lot of drama all the time. But neighbors still said they were surprised by yesterday's turn of events because there's never been an actual conflict where anybody got hurt, but that's what we have now. Police were called here about 7 o'clock last night. They say that the confrontation finally turned violent, that Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez actually fired a shot, hitting Jonathan Joss Gonzalez, fatally wounding him. He died here on the scene. Now, there is a lot more to this story that I haven't had time to look into yet. That's why we're going to be on it all day, so stay with us across our platforms. Sue Kalberg reporting live from South San Antonio.
A former Southwest ISD substitute teacher is now behind bars. Christopher Uresti is accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old.
According to court documents, she met Uresti when she was just an elementary schooler. Despite trying to fight back, court documents claim she was sexually assaulted 3 separate times. Between February and March, Uresti picked up the 12-year-old at 2 a.m. near Fisher's gas station. He forced her to perform sexual acts. She attempted to run away and did succeed. According to court documents, the second time, Uresti threatened to knock on her door at 1 a.m. if she didn't come outside. Taking her to the same place, he forced her once again to perform sexual acts. She was able to kick him in the face and run away. The third time, he forced her to do sexual acts and dropped her off at home. The victim told a teacher what happened in May. Uresti was a substitute teacher in Southwest ISD until October 2024, when he was forced to resign because an investigation found he had students' phone numbers and sent them inappropriate messages. After that, Uresti continued to attend school events, even picking up students. Some with parents' permission, others complained to the principal. Southwest ISD wrote in a statement referencing the October investigation when he resigned, saying in part, quote, "At the conclusion of our review, no credible evidence of sexual misconduct was found at that time." The recent allegations of sexual assault surfaced after Mr. Uresti was no longer employed with the district. These allegations are deeply troubling, and we are fully cooperating with law enforcement as they conduct their investigation. Uresti faces charges of aggravated sexual assault of a child. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you the latest. From the far west side, I'm Rania Kaur, KENS 5.
A major construction update on one of the busiest.
All right, man. We gotta holler. We gotta see what happened to John Redcorn, man. John Redcorn, man. Jonathan Joss, 59, gay. The voice of John Redcorn on King of the Hill has gone silent. Murdered in a homophobic hate crime. You see the propaganda? Homophobic hate crime. MAGA Evangelical hate caused this. MAGA conservatives caused this. Miseducation caused this. You see the propaganda? Press 1 if you see the propaganda. Shout out to Jack Me Off, man. Got a lot of love for Jack Me Off, man. He says, we need a minute to commemorate the memory of John Redcorn tonight. Yeah, no. Peep the propaganda, right? Peep what they saying, right? Peep this. Evangelical hate caused this. MAGA conservatives caused this. Miseducation caused this, right? Well, peep this. Peep this. Whoa, hold on.
The show. Now, neighbors say that he actually lived here on Dorsey for a long period of time until his house burned to the ground recently, like several months ago. But they said that he came back here regularly to check his mail, and they say that's what they believe he was doing yesterday afternoon. There's mail scattered on the ground here right near the crime scene. So what neighbors say happened here is the end result of a terrible neighborhood feud. They say that Jonathan and the man who is now charged with murder, Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez, they all call him Freddy. They say these two fellows had a long-standing feud. They argued. They faced off with one another with weapons. They said that Jonathan frequently was armed with a crossbow and that they could hear gunshots coming in the night from both of the houses. Not necessarily that the guys were shooting at one another, but there was just a lot of drama all the time. But neighbors still said they were surprised by yesterday's turn of events because there's never been an actual conflict where anybody got hurt. But that's what we have now. Police were called here about 7 o'clock last night. They say that the confrontation finally turned violent, that Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez actually fired a shot, hitting Jonathan Joss Gonzalez, fatally wounding him. He died here on the scene. Now, there is a lot more to this story that I have.
So, MAGA and evangelical Christians are to blame because two fucking hombredos had a long ongoing beef in San Antonio, Texas. So here goes his husband. This is a statement from John Redcorn's husband, man. That just sounds crazy, man. John Redcorn's husband. Here's a statement from John Redcorn's husband. My husband, Jonathan Joss, and I were involved in a shooting while checking the mail at the site of our former home. That home was burned down after over 2 years of threats from people in the area who repeatedly told us they would set it on fire. We reported these threats to law enforcement multiple times, and nothing was done. Throughout that time, we were harassed regularly by individuals who made it clear they did not accept our relationship. Much of the harassment was openly homophobic. When we returned to the site to check our mail, we discovered the skull of one of our dogs and its harness placed in clear view. This caused both of us severe emotional distress. We began yelling and crying in response to the pain of what we saw. While we were doing this, a man approached us. He started yelling violent homophobic slurs at us. He then raised the gun from his lap and fired. Jonathan and I had no weapons. We were not threatening anyone. We were grieving. We were standing side by side. When the man fired, Jonathan pushed me out of the way. He saved my life. Yeah, right. Jonathan is my husband. He gave me more love in our time together than most. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. I don't think we needed to know that, man. But I'll read it again for y'all, man. Jonathan was my husband. He gave me more love in our time together than most people ever get. We were newlyweds. We picked Valentine's Day. We were in the process of looking for a trailer and planning our future. What kind of man is that, man? He putting you up in a trailer? Girl, you need to find a better man than that. They put you up in a trailer. That's all he can do, man. Big Hollywood star like John Redcorn, all he can do is afford to put you in a trailer. Girl, you need to leave him. You deserve better, they. Says we were in the process of looking for a trailer and planning our future. He was murdered by someone who could not stand the sight of two men loving each other. I was with him when he passed. I told him how much he was loved. To everyone who supported him, his fans, his friends, know that he valued you deeply. He saw you as family. Our focus now is on protecting Jonathan's legacy and honoring the life he built together. If your concern is how someone coped with trauma or how loudly they speak when recounting injustice or being ignored by authorities, then you never truly cared about my husband. Jonathan saved my life. I will carry forward. I will protect what he built. Tristan Kern de Gonzalez. Hey, I had no idea, John. Damn, John. Well, that's what you get for sleeping with was that Bumhauer? Wasn't he sleeping with Bumhauer's wife? That's what you get, man. Karma's a bitch, man. That's what you get for sleeping with Bumhauer's wife, man. Dale. Yeah, that's what you get for sleeping with Dale's wife, man. You sleep with Dale's wife, man. Shit, you never know. Hey, man, he shouldn't have. I agree, man. He should. That's what he get for sleeping with Dale's wife. Press 1, man. Press 1, man. Fuck, man. Shouldn't have been sleeping with Dale's wife. Yeah, man.
Tens of thousands of children in Fayetteville could have a new curfew starting tomorrow night. The mayor and the city council are set to vote on that new ordinance. City leaders tell CBS 17's Justin Moore that it's not only to help curb gun violence, but really to protect the children.
Hanging out past 11 p.m. in Fayetteville could get children 16 years old and under a date with a juvenile court judge. On Tuesday, Fayetteville's mayor and city council.
You notice it? Tell me when you see it. Tell me when you see it. Press 1 when you see it.
Hanging out past 11 p.m. in Fayetteville could get children 16 years old and under a date with a juvenile court judge. On Tuesday, Fayetteville's mayor and city council will make a final decision on this 5-page youth curfew. Mayor Mitch Gov't, 16 years old and p.m. in Fayetteville could get children 16 years old and under a date with a juvenile court judge. On Tuesday, Fayetteville's mayor hanging out past 11 p.m. in Fayetteville could get children 16 years old and under a date with a juvenile court judge. On Tuesday, Fayetteville's mayor and city council will make a final decision on this 5-page youth curfew. Mayor Mitch Gov't has been pushing for this following a recent uptick in gun violence, including 2 shootings near the Dogwood Festival back in April.
And I feel like, is it because now it affected the Dogwood Festival? Now we're concerned. What about the other things that was happening before that time?
Denisha Neal.
The nerve of her. The nerve of her with that damn terrible ass fucking lace front on. The nerve of her. The nerve of this black she-boon to get on here and say this. The audacity of her to get on TV and say some shit like this. White people had a nice festival. Niggas went up there and shot it up. And this fucking she-boon gets on TV and says this.
Affected the Dogwood Festival. Affected the Dogwood Festival. Now it affected the Dogwood Festival. Now we're concerned. What about the other things that was happening before that time?
Denisha Neal run.
Yo, I hate. Press one if you could see why they're hated so much. Yo, you can tell, you're hated because no one hates you because of your skin. I'm convinced. This just proved it, man. I already knew this, but no one hates them because of the color of their skin or their gender. It's strictly behavior. White people tried to have a nice festival because it wasn't segregated, and they didn't say no blacks allowed. Some Sun teens came up there, and of course, violence ensued because violence goes wherever sons go. And then this bitch got the nerve to get on the news and say this shit.
It affected the Dogwood Festival. Now we're concerned. What about the other things that was happening before that time?
Denisha Neal runs a youth mentorship foundation called J6 Youth Foundation. She doesn't believe a curfew is the answer to the violence in the Ville.
It seems like there's no real solution when there's so many programs. If we had the funding, or if they were out here really seeing what's going on, it seems like there's no real solution when there. It seems like there's no real solution when there's. It seems like there's no real solution when there's so many programs. It seems like there's no real solution when there's.
Yo, shout out to Fall Metal Jacket, man. He says, get a coffee, Ock. Love you, man. Man, love you too, man. Salute to you, man. Salute to Full Metal Jacket. That's the first time we seen that name on the board. Shout out to Full Metal Jacket.
In the Ville.
It seems like there's no real solution when there's so many programs. If we had the funding, or if they were out here really seeing what's going on in the community, the curfew is the last thing on our minds.
The curfew would restrict kids 16 and under from public places between.
Yo, all they keep showing is white kids, man. Yo, this shit is diabolical. As the kids would say, as the young kids would say, this shit is diabolical. Yo, everyone smash the like button right now, man. Everyone smash the like button, man.
11 p.m. and 6 a.m. 7 days a week. There are exceptions for emergencies, teens with jobs, after-school activities, or if they are with a parent. If a Fayetteville police officer determines the curfew is broken, the child could receive a citation, and the guardian could face a misdemeanor or a fine for as much as $500.
Is a curfew going to criminalize our youth? Or is that something else that we have?
Their behaviors criminalizing them. God, y'all are, yo. The curfew is stopping them from committing crimes after a certain time. Their behavior is criminalizing them.
$100.
Is a curfew going to criminalize our youth? Or is that something else that we have to focus on?
Not everyone completely disagrees with the curfew.
We have to start somewhere. So we're not going to knock it before we get started.
This is to provide accountability and structure. Now, we still need to be meeting the students where they are.
If Fayetteville's mayor and city council passed a curfew, it would go into effect immediately for 1 year. In downtown Fayetteville, Justin Moore, CBS 17 News.
Yo, they're annoying. They annoying. Like, annoying doesn't do them justice, man. Jeez, look at this beautiful couple here, man.
2 Maryland teenagers are facing arson and murder charges of the brutal killing of an Anne Arundel County business owner.
Court documents reveal they allegedly bound their victim before lighting him on fire. Fox 5's Bob Barnard live tonight in Annapolis with this disturbing story. Bob?
Hey there, guys. The teen murder suspects are locked up here in the jail in Annapolis. They were supposed to graduate from high school today. Both were seniors at Southern High School in Harwood. That's here in Anne Arundel County. Now, we have mugshots of the two suspects, Jonah Michael Poole and Kylie Alyssa Dakes. Both.
That's a square job, motherfucker. Damn, man. Ryan Clark ain't gonna like this one, man. You don't really see a lot of young white boys messing with sisters, man. Now you done got yourself a life sentence fucking with that sister, man. Should have went and got you a nice white girl, man.
18 years old, both charged with first-degree murder, assault, and arson. Detectives say they are boyfriend and girlfriend charged.
You could tell he don't know how much trouble he in. That white boy have no idea how much trouble he in. Cause she about to say he put her up to it. She didn't have no choice. She gonna get like 15 years, maybe do 12. His ass is gonna get a life sentence.
And arson. Detectives say they are boyfriend and girlfriend charged in the gruesome May 24th murder of a Davidsonville business owner. You can see the charred remains of the victim's pickup truck still there in the parking lot of his business, Tropic Bay Water Gardens on West Central Avenue in Davidsonville. Edward Stephen Koza was 67 years old. In court documents, Anne Arundel County police say Koza's hands, arms, and mouth were bound with tape, and he was set on fire in the back seat of his pickup truck. Police say he also suffered blunt force trauma to his head, and that there were signs of a struggle inside the store, that this may have been a burglary gone terribly wrong.
At this point, we're still trying to figure out exactly why they were in this business. We know that there was evidence of a struggle. We obviously know that human remains were found in this vehicle, determined to be the victim in this case. It's extremely tragic, heartbreaking case. But really want to say thanks to our investigators who are working around the clock the past week plus to gather evidence in the area there, surveillance evidence and other technology to assist us along with witness interviews and piece this thing together.
Now, police say the victim was bound and in the backseat of his truck, seen in this surveillance video from a Davidsonville gas station not far from the murder scene. Police say the video helped them track down the alleged killers.
Wow, she's laughing and shit. They got the man bound in the backseat of his truck. She laughing and shit. She's smiling. Let me see this picture of her. She not smiling no more. Damn. Turn her smile right upside down, man. Shout out to Big Larry. Big Larry in the building, man. Man, they tied him up, put him in the back of his truck. They drove the truck to a gas station, of course, to get gasoline. Then they took it back to his business and set the truck on fire with him inside of it. Smiling the whole time. Oh, yeah. They both getting life sentences. She gonna try to say that the boyfriend put her up to it and he threatened her and she didn't have no choice. She was scared. But this don't look like nobody that was scared. Press 1. This don't look like nobody that's scared. You went inside to pay for the gas. Nah, they both getting life sentences. Wow.
And piece this thing together.
Now, police say the victim was bound and in the backseat of his truck, seen in this surveillance video from a Davidsonville gas station not far from the murder scene. Police say the video helped them track down the alleged killers. Suspect Dakes is seen here allegedly buying $10 worth of gasoline in the minutes before a passerby saw the victim's truck on fire. Police say a plastic gas can was found inside the burned out pickup truck. Now, Jonah Poole is also charged with burglarizing a popular seafood restaurant here in Anne Arundel County, Pirates Cove, a week before the break-in and murder in Davidsonville. Guys.
Yo, they don't know how much trouble they are in. Like, I think these people, you can tell by the look on their faces, they have no idea. They're never getting out. They burned that man alive in the back of his truck, tied him up and burned him alive. They're never getting out. And the Innocent Project only worked for black people, man. So even in 40 years, man, ain't nobody gonna try to come help you out, man. Wow. Whew. That's a brutal crime. Y'all are
Meantime, a man from Huntington Beach says he's now known as that homeless guy after a video he posted went viral. The father of 4 says he was carrying his newborn daughter when someone thought he was a homeless man with a baby and called police. He's sharing his story for the first time on TV with NBC4's Hetty Chang. She's live in Huntington Beach with more.
Yo,
Hetty.
if this was a black guy, this story would be a whole different it would be a whole different tenor to this story. It would be like the sky is falling, America needs a reckoning. How could this happen? I thought we moved past this as a country. The fucking dude would be trying to sue. You'd have a fucking GoFundMe. The fucking DOJ would investigate the fucking call and shit.
Huntington Beach says he's now known as that homeless guy after a video he posted went viral. The father of 4 says he was carrying his newborn daughter when someone thought he was a homeless man with a baby and called police. He's sharing his story for the first time on TV with NBC4's Hetty Chang. She's live in Huntington Beach with more. Hetty.
Yeah, Annabelle, we just checked his Instagram account where he posted that now viral encounter. That video has more than 49 million views. Chapman Hamburg says, yes, he was surprised when a police officer showed up at his door asking for his ID, but he's using all of this as a teachable moment about homelessness.
Someone called the cops on me, thinking that I was a homeless person with a baby.
You can see Chapman Hamburg's surprise and amusement on the video he posted to social media, now with nearly 50 million views.
Nope, not homeless, just a tired dad.
It was Good Friday, and Hamburg says he was taking baby Florence, at the time only a month old, out for a walk, he says, to give his wife a break.
That day it happened, it was actually like my second walk of the morning. But I still hadn't gotten ready for the day, clearly.
The 32-year-old art studio owner and father says he had no idea his thrown-together outfit concerned someone, who then followed him and called police. An officer showed up at Hamburg's Huntington Beach home.
You were going for a walk or something? Were you going for a walk, or like, is this your baby or something? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why? What's up? And then he's like, oh, one of your neighbors saw you and thought you were homeless.
After posting about the encounter, Hamburg says thousands of people chimed in.
So many people in the comments were already saying like, what the heck? Like, what if you were homeless? Like, is it illegal to walk, to have a baby and be homeless?
Hamburg says instead of getting upset, he thought he could use this viral moment as a teachable one, using his art to educate people about homelessness.
I had this painting of me wearing one of my babies. I was just like, oh wow, like there's this connection I'm seeing between this painting and this incident.
Hamburg reached out to the United Way of Orange County and is now selling.
Is he like, where's the mom? Where's the mom?
Limited editions of his painting called Unseen Path, together with the United Way. 20% of the proceeds going toward helping the homeless.
Being able to provide people with accurate information about what homelessness is, who ends up.
Oh, nah. I know her name is not Bex Hey Ho. No way her name is Bex Hey Ho. Hey Ho. Yikes, man. Some of y'all are so fortunate you didn't grow up around black people, man. Her name is Bex Hey Ho.
Up becoming homeless. In April alone, 371 families reached out for assistance and completed a form saying, I am at risk of losing my housing, or I am actually experiencing homelessness right now with my children.
Hamburg hopes to teach his own children about homelessness.
How we can show compassion to them and know that that can look so many different ways.
And he hopes one day to meet the neighbor who called police.
Would love to just, get to know her and not shame her or anything, but just, just say thanks for being.
Oh, shit. God, this whole story would be completely different if it was a black person. If this was a brother, man, this whole story would be different, man.
Who called police.
Would love to just, get to know her and not shame her or anything, but just, just say thanks for being vigilant and like keeping an eye out.
Hamburg is selling 80 of his limited edition prints. He says he's already.
If he's not gay, man. But I know some white dudes do talk like that. Some white dudes do sound very gay, but they're not gay. I've seen that. They're white guys, and there's some black guys that sound gay that aren't gay. It's very rare with black guys. It's more common with white guys, but they sound gay, but they're not gay. But is that like, I don't know what the deal is with the baby. I don't know. Who knows?
Sold a few so far. We posted some information on our website, nbcla.com. We're live in.
Let's get to the let's get to our friend, our buddy, the Escapee, man. Let's get to the Escapee, man. I want to talk about him, man. Where he at? There he is. There he is. This is Escapee from New Orleans, man. Everybody hit the like button, man. I'm gonna drop the link, man. Hit the like button, support the channel, sponsor the show, support the channel. Either by PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Salute to Barry B. Barry B taking the challenge. Shout out to Barry B. Every night, man. Coming through once again. Barry B in the building. This one of the last two guys that escaped. The 10 of them escaped, 8 of them been caught. It's been a while since they caught one, though. It's been like a week since they caught one. But this is one of the two that's still out there.
I'm one of the ones that was let out of GC. What I want to talk about today is.
So now he said that he was let out.
As far as why I was in.
Now he's saying they let out. Now he's saying they was let out. Now I'm gonna tell you something, man. This guy made a lot of mistakes right here, man. Let me tell you the mistakes he made before we get into his thing, man. Shout out to JL, man. JL in the building. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you one of the mistakes he made. Okay, so they looking for him, man. This is they looking for him. Okay. This is not just a normal fugitive. You know, they are looking for him, right? They looking for any clue, right? To find him, right? So he should have had like a tapestry or a sheet behind him. Because what now he does, he's exposed the layout. So it's a center, the layout of this kitchen. Okay, so he's in an apartment. The detectives can look at this and be like, yo, what kind of apartment buildings have this layout? Have this floor design in the kitchen? Use these type of tiles and use this type of cabinet design with the center. I forgot what they call this shit. The center counter. And they can narrow it down to which apartment buildings use this type of floor design or floor plan. these type of tiles, this type of woodwork. It might not lead to his apprehension, but it's a clue, man. It could help the police rule out certain places. It could help them, hone in on certain places. Like, okay, well, these apartments in this city use this type of layout. Yeah, good way to narrow the scope. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. I said, God damn, this nigga, he doing what he doing what all this what BTS did. BTS killer. A lot of these dudes that are playing games with the cop. This is kind of what the DC sniper did too. When they corresponded with the cops and they playing a cat and mouse game with the cops, they always make mistakes. And this could be a mistake that leads to his apprehension because he seemed to have them. They don't know where he's at, but he's giving them something. Like, for instance, they had no idea where he was at. And if he had just simply put a sheet behind him, he would have been good. But now they have something to work with. Something. Let me drop the link, man. They have something. He's giving them, and I love Columbo. Columbo is my favorite show. Columbo is my favorite drama. And Columbo, you can't give him anything, man. You can't give Columbo nothing. I mean, nothing. You can't give him anything, and you're screwed. And this is kind of like how I look at it, man. Even though I've naturally like that. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I like Columbo. I like Columbo because of that. But yeah, listen. First thing I thought when I saw this was like, oh Lord. You done gave them something. What's going on, Mac Knight?
Yeah, man. So he also fucked up because the property manager can easily recognize that layout. Property manager, maintenance man.
Yep.
Easily recognize the layout of that apartment and the specifics of the inside of it. And cash in on that reward. I forgot how much it was though.
Yep. Or you just don't want this nigga. You want him caught. You don't think he should be free. You don't want this criminal out there, and you just turn him in because you don't want that in your building. You don't want that on your property. Fuck a reward.
Well, that, and also I don't know if this is a big one, but I mean the fact that he was wearing a hoodie. I mean, I'm in Alabama right now. It's hot as fuck down here. That's telling me he's somewhere up north.
I don't know, maybe, but he got on boots too, yeah. But yeah, I don't know, maybe but he gave them something. You agree they had nothing, right? They didn't have a clue where he was.
They had no idea, and it also depends on where this came from, because like where this video was generated from, because they could track the IP address.
Right. It depends on how you uploaded it too. If you uploaded it like just regular, true indeed. He said, "Is your smoke detector chirping?" I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I'm. Don't get me wrong. I've been on the run before, and let me tell you something. At a certain point, you get tired. You do get tired of running. You know what I'm saying? And when they caught me, I was kind of, like, all right, at least it's over with. And I went to jail and I got out the same day, but I got out on personal cognizance. But what I'm saying is, like, at the same time,
It's got to be exhausting.
Because they do go to the place where they think you are, and they do lay. They went to a place where they thought I was, and laid everybody down with guns and searched the whole place. And then I had to hear from those people. Those people, they were mad. You hear me? They was like, "Man, turn yourself in, man." They ain't snitch on me, but they was like, "Turn yourself in, man." Tired of this shit. He keep coming over here.
So isn't this the guy? Didn't his grandmother get arrested for helping him?
Yeah, several people have been arrested. Like I think 7 people have been arrested for helping them. At least the whole, all 10 of them combined, 7 people have been arrested in this whole case for helping them. So I don't know which ones helped him and which one helped somebody else, but
his aunt definitely helped him.
Oh yeah. How do you know that?
It was something she said during her whole spiel. I forget exactly what it was, but she was like, "Oh, he's safe," or like, "I know he's good. I know he's good." She heavily implied she had just spoken to him.
Bro, social media is the worst thing to happen to black people since integration, bro. Like, and whoever's house that is or apartment, whoever's apartment that's in, they're going to jail.
Oh yeah.
Whoever gave him the phone he's recording on right now is going to jail.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see what this nigga guy say, man. Let's see what he say.
I'm one of the ones that was let out of the GC. What I want to talk about today is as far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail. I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that. I was in there for theft of a motor vehicle and domestic abuse involving strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here in St. Tammany Parish. There's 2 different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay, today what I want to talk about is that I was on second-degree kidnapping, second-degree rape, domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order, right? On this woman right here, her name is Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child, she's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman. This is a legalized affidavit saying all allegations against me is false. You remember, all allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her or none of that during the timing of the date, which was November the 10th of 2024. Okay, so I was in St. Tammany, right? And I was on a regular domestic charge, right? So they put a parole hold on me because I was on a domestic charge. So with that being said, is that once that occurred, and the charges was refused or whatever, they shipped me to Orleans Parish where I had more open charges, was the theft of a motor vehicle and the domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation. So once I got at Orleans Parish Jail, all right, I have from the district attorney's office, this woman who they say that I initially raped in another parish and in Orleans Parish, the same woman here. It's not different females, it's the same grown woman, not a child, a grown woman. Okay, she did the same thing in Orleans Parish, right? Correct. I'm about to show you how the system is corrupted. Okay, she did this, right? Saying all allegations against me is false. And she even saying it, she let her know the truth, that I never did this to her. I never hit her. I was nowhere around her, nothing. She got mad and thought that I was dealing with another woman. That's why she did what she did to me.
Oh, my head hurts.
Another thing too, once I got into O'Neill's parish, I was there for like a month or something like that. Okay, a lot went on as that time progressed. Okay, if you was an innocent person and you know the judges and DA know that this person is saying that all the charges that you're on that you did not do, why was you still in jail? Louisiana have the highest incarceration rate in the world for putting black people away. Yes, at the end of the day, in my younger life, I'm not gonna lie, I was causing problems. I was young. My daddy got killed when I was 7 years old. My mom had to raise 4 children by herself, so I had to find a way to try to help my mother. You feel what I'm saying? But as time went on, the person that I once was, I'm not that person today. That is not who I am. I have a 3-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old daughter that graduated yesterday, supposed to be. At the end of the day, that people don't understand that they see that I'm armed and dangerous. I have a heart. People that know me know that at the end of the day, I am a good person. So I'm asking for help from the world, from Meek Mills,
Hey,
I'm
hang on.
convinced.
Wayne, Young Boy,
Hey, yo,
Donald Trump. I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even.
hey, bro, is it me or does that camera look like it's
Yo,
moving? Like somebody else
Donnie.
is holding it? Huh?
Yeah, somebody holding it. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, somebody holding that camera. All right, so that's another fucking that's another fucking felony right there. All right, bet.
Yo, he's don't get me wrong, man. I mean, the what he's doing right now is showing me that he might be tired, man, of running. Like I don't know if they closing in on him, or whatever, but he seemed tired, man. He seemed like he ready to go back to jail, man. And just
Well, he knows he's going back.
Oh yeah, he knows he's going back. But what I'm saying is, when you running, it's a certain like when you first run, like and you first get away, it's like, oh shit, I'm free, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm free, or I got away.
I know we
And
might
then
be. I said I know we might be. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
and then over time, like, because they looking for you. Like they looking for you. People tell you, hey, they came by here today. Hey, they came by here today. People let you know. Okay, so it's not like you don't know they're looking for you. You know they're looking for you, right? And one time I ran out the back of the house. They came in the front and I ran out the back.
So I got a question. Do you just maybe I'm giving Sunman too much credit, because this sounded like it was like planned, like they planned it with the maintenance guy and all that, and then they
Right.
did.
They plan to get
So
out, but
all right, so do y'all just stay in the same geographical area, bro? Because I just feel like if I escape,
hold
I'll be
on,
on my
man.
way to
You gotta
Tijuana.
understand. You gotta understand. Like, this ain't no fucking movie. You know who you know. Like, you can't just go. You don't have. First of all, these guys don't have any fucking money. Okay, their family members don't really have a lot of money. And you can only go where you know people, like where people can harbor you. You can't just go, you know what I'm saying, and knock on some. I'm gonna go to Idaho and knock on somebody's door. Hey, let me stay. You go where people know you. You go where there's people that the family members or people that can help you. And most times that's where you're from. That's in the
That's so
city.
wild to me. I get it's not a movie, man. That's just so wild to me, bro. Like you might as well just. I mean, you might as
Dude,
well
I
just
didn't
stay in
go
that bitch.
nowhere. I stayed right in my neighborhood. I was in my neighborhood the entire time. I was even in the same place.
You hiding in plain sight.
I was in the place I was in the house where they were looking for me. I ran out the back one day. And then a couple of times when I wasn't there, they came by, which I was lucky. And I only came there at night. Like I came in the morning. That's how they caught me. I would come in there like early, late at night. And then I would stay there and I'll try to leave early in the morning. And one morning they came in at like 5 o'clock in the morning and caught me in the bed with my girl and shit. It's like, yo, listen, let me tell you something, man. But see, the way I got away is because they raided my house, and it was a raid under the narcotics division. And when they raided the house, I came to the door. So I had a female cousin who was smoking weed on the porch with the door cracked, the front door cracked. And that gave them probable cause to come in because they had been surveilling the house for a long time. So they came up to the porch, and it's just the door was open. They just walked in, and I happened to be coming out the room, coming towards the front door, and they was like, Akatunde, Michael. They said, Akatunde, are you Akatunde? Tunde? And I was like, no. And then they grabbed my ID, and I pulled out my ID. It was like, Michael? I was like, yeah. And they was like, okay. And they was like, get out of here. They gave me my ID back and said, get out here, because they was looking for me by my government name, right? Yeah, my name, my ID had Michael on it, right? And they was like, get out of here. Gave me my ID. And I walked through the front door, went straight next door to my boy's house, and went in his house, and I was like, yo, they just raided him out. And as I walked out, I seen all the cops. Like they had a whole task force coming in there, right? And I just like, yo, they just literally fucking raiding my house. And we up in the window upstairs looking out, and they came outside, like all of them came outside and was looking around. Yo, where the fuck did that guy just go? Because they had just went inside, and they had, like detained everybody, and they came. Some of them came outside, and you could just see them looking around, like, where the fuck did he go? And I'm upstairs next door, looking out the window, panicking like shit. I'm like, oh shit. So like, they arrested the 4 dudes that was in there. My boy Neil, Will, KD. I forgot who else was in there. Cody, yeah, it was like 4 dudes in there, right?
They arrested everybody but the motherfucker they was looking for,
right? But peep it, they taking motherfuckers out, and they like, man, this ain't my house. This ain't my shit. The dude just like they snitching on me. My niggas is snitching on me like shit, right? They ratting on me, like just telling them. I'm sitting up there in the window next door, just looking out like, oh, y'all niggas wild as shit, right? So they take all them out, put them in the car, drive them down, drive them off. Then they start coming out with big fucking paper bags, just a bunch of paper bags. Full of like shit, right? So you know how when they go into place, they bring all the evidence out in the paper bag, right? The brown paper bag. And then they took all that shit, and then eventually they left. So then I went, and then I called my girl, I was like, yeah, come over here, Johnny house, come upstairs, da, da. So we up there, we looking out the window at the shit. So then later they left, right? And it ain't no movie. Like, it's not like a movie. They left and they was gone, right? So we went back over there, and they had tossed my whole house. I'm talking about, when I say tossed, it looked like the Tasmanian devil was in my room for like a whole day, just spinning, just everything was everywhere, right? They tossed everything. It looked like they wasn't even looking for something. It looked like they literally was just destroying shit, right? So they destroyed my whole fucking room, right? Because this is when I was living in the rooming house, right? They destroyed the whole fucking place, right? The whole fucking thing. You heard me? And so I was like, oh shit, I'm on the run now. And niggas just kept, niggas was like, yo, what you gonna do? I was like, man, they're like, you need to turn yourself in. Because man, this ain't our case, man. We don't be why we because they had the case. It was the cases on them, right? This is going to show you how selfish niggas is, right? At that time, that didn't cross my mind that they had the case. Like they had the drug case, all the drugs that was found in there, the whole thing, whatever led up to it, it was on them, right? Because they got arrested and they was charged with it, right? That didn't cross my mind. I was only thinking about myself. I was like a rat trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get the fuck away, right? So I just I was like, I'm not turning myself in. They gotta do their job. That's what niggas. That's what niggas in DC say. Make them do their job, right? So I was like, all right, make them do their job. And I just laid low. I'm talking about I was out. I just be out, not away from the spot. And they would come back over there. The police came back over there random odd times, like everybody in the room and house down. So everybody in all the rooms, gunpoint, check all the rooms. And then motherfuckers would call me, or I would see motherfuckers. They'd be like, man, turn yourself in, man. They came by there, had guns all in our face, laid us down. I still was like, nah, man, I ain't turning myself in. I was like, they gotta do their job. But now looking back on it, I see how selfish I was, putting everybody in jeopardy and shit, and putting everybody in life. But when you a son man, like you don't even care, man. You only think about yourself, man. So I was like, man, it was just. And then, like I told you, they one like after like 10 days or something, they came over there one day, and I'm still working. Don't get me wrong, I worked at Home Depot. I'm still working. They came up my job in the break room. Yeah, I'm in the break room. They tell one of my boys, is because everything, you got to be very lucky to stay on the run too. The luck you got to have, right? One of my boys came in and said, somebody out there looking for you. He was like, stay back here. Somebody out there looking for you. The police out there looking for you. And I was like, oh shit, right? But it's like it take a lot of luck, right? It take a lot of luck because they looking for you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's not luck, that's incompetence, bro. I'm sorry.
Nah, it is like because one time I swear, like one time I was in there, I saw them coming through the window because I stayed in the window. Like when I was over there, I stay in the window. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Stay in the window, right? Or stay, you know what I'm saying? Because you just be, you know what I'm saying? I see them coming. I ran out the back. They came in the front. If they had come in the back, they would have called me. They came in the front. I ran out the back. And they just missed. They missed me by like probably like 10 seconds, right? It came to my job. They came to the place. It was luck, man. It was a lot of luck, but it was also you get tired, man. And that's what I think. This guy's tired, man. I think he's tired. He ready to at some point you're just ready for it to be over with. Yeah, man.
Damn, I didn't know you were a criminal mastermind.
I wasn't no mastermind. That was just some shit that happened. It just happened like that. Like I don't even know. Like I didn't even know. Like I was under surveillance. I didn't know. We were just selling weed, man. Just slanging weed out the crib, moving shit. I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like I was under surveillance. That I didn't even know. Like you know what I'm saying? It was that deep. They raided that joint, the whole narcotics division. And I was like, oh, man. And then it just happened, like one thing happened after another. It wasn't like a place like one thing, you react to this, then you react to that, then you react to this, then you react to that, then you react to this, then you react to that, you do this, then you do that. And it's just one step after another. But yeah. When they finally caught me, I wasn't even mad. I was just like, all right. You know, and then I ended up getting the case, and then of course, you know, one thing led to another, and I think I talked about how that case ended up.
How long of a time period was that?
What do you mean? What do you mean with how long was time period?
How long of a time period, like, were you fucking playing?
How long were you on the run?
It wasn't no more than it was probably 10 days. It was probably because my mind's kind of foggy, but it's about 10 days maybe. No more than that. But you got to understand, when you're not sleeping in your bed, when you're living on the run, when you're walking around all the time, or you staying over, like it's you see, every night you go home and you go in your bed and you sleep and you go to your refrigerator, and if you want to take a shit, you take a shit, and you know what I'm saying. So you got your pillow. When you want to run, it's every night is different.
You wasn't, bro. You was at the crib on the run, bro. You was going to work.
No,
bro.
but what I'm saying is, I would come through there. I wasn't there. I would come through there to sleep sometimes, and I would you gotta understand, everybody don't want you staying. Like, yo, niggas got families. Plus, you gotta understand too, I'm on the run. So wherever I go, they're going to kick the door in there. So like, it's certain places, like I'm not going over my mother's house, having them kicking the door at my mother's house. My mother knew about this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, she not letting me stay there. You know what I'm saying? So my mother wasn't gonna let me stay at her house when the police looking for me. So it's like, yeah, like it's like certain places, like you just can't go everywhere. It's like everybody not gonna help you, because like they ain't like, this ain't, my mother ain't from the street and shit like that. My mother ain't, you know what I'm saying? She ain't with that shit. She would not, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't go there. There was a lot of places I couldn't go, that because you got to understand, when they looking for you, you understand, they stopped me at the door. The person, the prime suspect in the investigation, the only suspect in the investigation, because it was just me. I was the only suspect. The investigation was told I was the only plaintiff defendant in the investigation. They stopped me at the door. Give me your ID. I gave them my ID. They looked at the name, because Akatune Michael Cody. They must have looked at it real fast. Didn't see the whole name. Like, all right, get out. Hand me back my shit. Get out of here. I go out the house, run next door, bang on my friend. My friend, he already had seen the police out there. I bang on his door, like, let me in. That took about 10 seconds. Run upstairs. That take another 10 seconds. Look out the window. So 30 seconds later, they coming back out the house, looking around, looking up and down the street, looking for me. Where the fuck you go? Looking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck you at? And it's just on from there.
Bro, if anybody else had told me this story, I would call bullshit, bro. If anybody else but you.
I got niggas. You gotta understand. It's one day I'm gonna bring some niggas on here that can tell you it's way more stories to that. But it's like, from that moment, it was on. Like, they can't just come banging on the door. They didn't know where I was. They had no idea I was right next door. So I called my girl. She came over. She walked right past them. They had the whole block. Like, the whole block was hot, right? They walked right past the window of my neighbor's house, came upstairs. And we was in that joint like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, fuck. This shit crazy. But, yeah, it's just one move after another. And listen, man, you get tired. You get tired of living on. You can't, you don't eat right. You weak. You definitely ain't showering. And, you know what I'm saying? And changing your clothes like that. You tired, literally tired, and you weary from just the pressure of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, at that time, that's a big case. I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to go do. I'm facing a bunch of time, right? I'm like, oh shit, because they got all my shit. Like, I didn't get to get anything. I didn't get to flush nothing. I didn't get to stash nothing. And all the niggas told on me. You know what I'm saying? And then looking back on it, I don't blame them for telling on me, because they had the case now. And they didn't do nothing. They was just over there. Like, some of them came through to buy some weed, and niggas would come through to buy weed and smoke, right? So my house, they would come through my house, and some niggas would come cop the weed and leave. Some niggas a few niggas that I was cool with, They would come through, cop weed, match me a blunt. You know how niggas is, match me a blunt, right? So that all the weed, they match me a blunt. So after they come through, they'll smoke a blunt, I smoke a blunt with them and shit. We just chill, play video games or, you know what I'm saying, whatever, watch TV or whatever, or just, you know, whatever the fuck we would do, right? And that was them niggas. They wasn't involved in nothing. They wasn't involved in no kind of drug selling, nothing, right? And now they had a case. They had a case now. Because the feds put the narcotics division put the case on them as a way to kind of like, they didn't drop their charges because as a way to like, you know, put pressure on me. You did what I'm saying? Once they caught me, they dropped all their charges. All them niggas, all their cases got dismissed once, got thrown out once they caught me. But before they caught me, them niggas was still facing charges. And when I say I didn't give a fuck, I was like a rat, dog. I was like a rat. You ever see a rat just scurry across the room and hide in a hole? I was like that, dog. Like a rat, dog. Straight survival mode, man.
I guess that's what I'm not meant to understand that type of thing. I mean, I get the whole no snitching culture and all that shit, bro. But if I caught a charge, man, for somebody else, man, you better believe I'm about to start singing like goddamn Barry White.
Oh, them
It's
niggas
part
was
of the
mad.
game.
Yo, they was mad as hell. Like I would stay in the neighborhood. I would be in the neighborhood, so it wasn't like I was hard to find and shit, right? But you know what I'm saying, like the police. The place they knew where I was at, where I was selling from, was that house. So it's like that's where they kept coming back to try to raid. So, but I seen them niggas just all the time. They was the ones that was from the neighborhood. A couple of them, one was from Virginia, and another one was from up the way a little bit, but he was still in the neighborhood. But the ones that was in the neighborhood, I saw them. Yeah, yo, turn yourself in, man. Turn yourself in, man. I was like, nah, man. They gotta do their job. You know, that's what they say. Make them do their job. That's what I, you know, had always heard. And don't get me wrong, I'm not acting like I was, you know, this was the first time I had actually had to use that term. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, yeah, make them do their job, dude. Yeah, make them do their job. Niggas was mad.
That no snitching culture is strong, bro. God damn.
Yeah,
I cannot imagine like posting. I get arrested for some shit you did. I'm posting bail. I come back to the crib. I see your ass, man. I could not imagine that shit.
Yo, you gotta understand too. Niggas, girls was coming at me. Well, my man, his girl pressed me out. I'm talking about his girl. She was, you know, she was tough broad and whatnot. She ghetto broad and shit. She pressed me out like for money. Like, yo, we need money for bail. We need some bail money. She came up on me, pressed me out, pressed everybody because I was out there with a bunch of dudes, and she was like, yo, I don't even say that, but she said, my husband in jail right now. He need bail to get out. Da, 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 da. And I was like, all right, I gave her a couple $100, and she pressed some other dudes out that was his boys, like, yeah, y'all his boys, he needs y'all now. Da, da, da. And yeah, so I gave her some money for his bail and whatnot, but it was like you see these people, you know what I'm saying? But it never crossed my mind to turn myself in. Never once did it cross my mind to turn myself in. I guess it was just seeing dudes throughout the years. They always go on the run. Like they never. No, that's why whenever we see the videos in person, be like, turn yourself in. I always be like, man, I always
come get me.
I'd be like, no one ever turns themselves in. Not even for that. And they be like, turn yourself in for a murder. Like somebody killed like 3 people. They were like, turn yourself in. Ain't nobody turning themselves in. Trust me. You're not turning yourself in. The Sun Man is not turning himself in. But yeah, that
But
was.
he will make a ridiculous social media video where he just Negro babbles.
See, we didn't have that in those days. So it's like to us, it's mind-boggling. This kid, he grew up, all he knows is this. We might, like, if we grew up in this time, this might make sense to us. This makes absolutely no sense to me. But I got nephews and little cousins that are growing up in this time, and the way they see the world, like for instance, my son, right? He thinks scrolling, like he know how to scroll on a phone. He's 1 and 4 months old. When you give him a phone, he take his finger and start dragging and start, up and down, dragging across the phone. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, she know how to make videos and shit on the phone and whatnot. Like they growing up, like that's all they know. You know what I'm saying? That's all they know. So like when you grew up in this time, that shit might make sense to you to go to the internet, you know what I'm saying, for everything. Like think about GoFundMe. When we was young, if somebody got shot or got in an accident or something, it was just like maybe you could, if you were a member of a church, they could do a fish fry or something. Or maybe you could have something at the rec center and ask for people to give donations and get like $100 or something like that. Now you got GoFundMe. Everything is so much easier now. Like this dude just asked the president. He just asked the president to help him.
Is it true he
From his
pardoned?
phone.
I mean, didn't he pardon NBA YoungBoy, or was that?
Yeah, he pardoned NBA YoungBoy. But this dude just asked the president from his phone to, for help. Think about how easy life is. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Y'all ain't been sponsoring the show lately. Make sure y'all sponsor the show via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat, guys. But yeah, this right here. This gives me tired vibes. This gives me like he ready for it to be over with. You know what I'm saying?
For the lawyer to prove my innocence while I was in Orleans Parish jail. They said that I broke out. I didn't break out. I was let out. My name is Antoine Massey. The guy who said that I threatened him with a shank, the maintenance guy, how could I threaten you with a shank? If you can't come around me, you're a maintenance. You cannot come on the tills without a deputy being behind you. Because if they just let you on the till, you could be persuaded to bring drugs or anything like that nature. So how can I threaten you to jail you? And why you didn't notify the people, the police, that if I did threaten you, you never did that. Like you flat out lied on me. Sterling flat out lied on me. And I want to let the media know that from the straight tattoos in my face and things of that nature, of course they're gonna believe Sterling. You know what I'm saying? I never told Sterling nothing. I'm willing to take a lie detector test and everything behind that. But that's another subject.
Shit, for real?
Orleans Parish is one of the corruptedest jails. That in St. Tammany Parish is the corruptedest jails in the state of Louisiana. Why was I even incarcerated with a woman saying that this never happened? This is this woman's name. This is the charge, domestic abuse discrimination. This is about the shit in St. Tammany. Why was I in Orleans Parish? Why was I even in jail? That's what I'm trying to show y'all. That's why I left the jail. And they have a lot more brothers that's innocent, just like me, that's trying to prove their innocence. That's why they ran. Jason Williams, the sheriff, Susan Hudson, these people are corrupted. These people was talking to St. Tammany and telling St. Tammany they gonna sentence me behind this and telling St. Tammany if they can't get me, St. Tammany gonna get me. You see what I'm saying? behind a woman that's a grown adult that never stated that I ever raped her. They have
not a child
detective that's over the case, that's trying to pursue charges on me because of my prior history. Who I was in the past is not who I am today. So I'm asking for the media. I don't even have a lawyer to help me. I'm asking for help. That's why I ran. You feel me? I'm a grown man, man. I have kids. I have a mother. I have a baby mother, a child, my children mother. Like it's a lot going on. And that's why I ran. I need help. You feel what I'm saying? Orleans Parish in St. Tammany is one of the corruptest parishes in the world. And I'm asking for help. It's a lot of corruption. It's jiggins, all type of stuff going on, and they covering it up. They don't care about nothing. In the state of Louisiana, this is something that needs to go under a federal investigation. What's going on? How they handling cases? Why Antoine Massey was in jail if the woman, the victim, the grown woman, not a child, the grown woman stated that he never raped her, he never beat her, she was nowhere in her presence. This is the affidavits on the date right here. This is the drop form from the district attorney office. This woman went did this. I didn't do this. Look, it's legally dated. So I'm asking please for help. Young boy, Meat Mills, people, LBL, you know what I'm saying? People that been through the system that know it's corrupt. Lil Wayne, Donald Trump, please, I'm asking for help. You know what I'm saying? When I get back in custody, I'm asking y'all please to come help. You feel what I'm saying? I'm asking the world I'm letting y'all know I'm not.
You heard that?
You know what I'm saying? When I get back in custody, I'm asking y'all please to come help. You feel what I'm
saying? He knows it's coming. He knows that the walls is closing in, man. He knows he tired, man. He tired. They gonna probably he probably get him like
he's
what's
out
today?
of money too.
The next couple, yeah, they gonna get him this week. They're gonna get him this week. I don't know about the other one. The other one playing is smooth. He ain't saying nothing. The killer, Wu, what's his name? Wu. Yeah, this Antoine Massey, they're gonna have him in a couple of days. Shout out to Boy Kachina, man. He said, I'm convinced. Yeah, man, it's a very convincing speech, man.
I'm asking the world I'm letting y'all know I'm not a raping man. I'm not none of that. None of that. I'm a good person.
He's not a raping man.
Be in my children's life. You know what I'm saying? I want to let the younger youth know that going down the route of trying to be a street person is not the route. That's what type of person I am. Yes, I was lied on. They made Sterling lie on me. All the guys they picked me for him to lie on. I'm not saying Sterling a bad guy, but why did you pick me to lie on, bro? It's bigger than Sterling. I don't know why they picked me for him to lie on, but
he a little teeny little dude too, man. He probably like 5'3", 5. This dude, but he ain't no more than 5'6". But shout out to Roy, man. Roy say, stay up, young man. Salute to you, Roy. Yeah, listen. I don't believe a word he's saying, you know, just for the show, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you ask me, you know, like maybe if you ask me like, you know, on an interview on TV, I'd probably be like, yeah, good luck to him. But just leveling with y'all, keeping it real with y'all, I don't believe a fucking word this guy say. Not one word. Not one word, man. I believe he did everything they say he did and 100 times more. But a lot of people are going to believe this. And this is very convincing. I do think he's convincing to a certain demographic. And he's gaining sympathy, you know what I'm saying? But I do think that, you know, he needs to if this is his stance, right? If this is his stance, if he wants help from people, if he want Meek Mill and all the Black Killer Mike and T.I. and all the rap activists to help him and shit, right? Jay-Z, you know what he need to do? He need to get a lawyer and go turn himself in the next couple of days while this is still fresh. That would be the proper way to play this. What do you guys think?
Nah, man. Hell no. Nah.
They're gonna catch him
Well,
anyway. What I'm saying is
he
they're
can't
gonna
just
catch him anyway.
He can't just go to Home Depot to make a living. He's out of money. He's broke.
No, I said yeah, but what I'm saying is like this right here, this thing right here. A lot of people be convinced by this. Like everybody's don't think like Ak Nation people think. Y'all know that. Like everybody don't think like that. Like this move people, man. This is niggas say, man, I was done wrong by this. That shit works with 90% of the public.
So I mean, but dude, they got phones in jail now, bro. He could have did this from inside his damn cell.
Right, but he escaped. They wanted to escape. This is all lies. Like that's what I said. Like he wanted to escape, but now he's just flipping the narrative. All he's doing is flipping the narrative.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, all right. So for his story, to make his story
Yeah,
look more believable. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. If he turned himself in, yeah, that would definitely, especially since they, granted, yeah, they're probably closing in on him, but he's been ghost for how long now? A couple of weeks. So
3
he
weeks
could,
almost.
yeah, he could make some stupid people believe him if he turned himself in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like for his narrative. His narrative is the system is corrupt and they lying on me and I didn't do nothing.
Now, I will say one thing that is, if we're talking about the hierarchy here, he was accused of the grape. So I don't think, this is we're still under Me Too. We're still under Me Too, even in 2025. Any allegation of that is an issue. He'd have a better chance of beating it if it was a drug charge or, he'd get more sympathy if it was a drug charge or if he shot a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Than being accused of rape.
The courts are gonna fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. This kid, he may turn himself in, and he may have like some group, one of them groups look at his case and be like, "Oh, we found this and we found that, and we want to take his case." And he may get some better legal, like some well-meaning white people may want to, help him out.
No, sir. Not for rape. Not for rape. No, sir. They're not. He might very. Have you? I mean, all right. So you got the Innocence Project, right? Have you ever seen them go after people accused of rape? It's always like murder or something like that. It's never. No one's ever. They don't fight for people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I haven't. Not that I'm aware of.
Really? Are you kidding me?
I mean, if you rape a white woman or
crime.
something,
Most of the people they help are violent criminals, man.
You rape a white woman or somebody, but I think the paperwork said Diamond Smith.
This is
or some
domestic.
Shit.
Domestic. This is domestic shit, man.
I don't see these liberals coming to the aid of somebody accused of rape. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, maybe not. I do.
Assault, murder, robbery. Yeah, they'll come to his aid. But rape, I think we still under that Me Too shit, bro.
Oh, okay. I just think that I think they definitely would. I think they definitely would. Definitely without a doubt would help him out. And all it takes is one. It's not like he got to get like everybody. He just got to get certain people to. And all he need is basic. I'm not saying he gonna get off or nothing like that, I'm just saying he might have to find some people that like fight for him and shit, or look through the paperwork. And you know how they find, you know how like you have certain lawyers look through your paperwork. Like it's kind of like your taxes. You go to one tax place and they get you back $2,000. You go to another tax place and they get you back $5,000. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the skill of the legal team. You know what I'm saying? Of your legal, you know what I mean? Help or whatever, representation. Yeah. But yeah, man. Salute to Antoine Massey, man. Hey, man, however it turn out, man, good luck, man. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, man, I would say free, bro, but he already free, so.
Well, it all started with stolen ice cream cones and ended with a man shot to death. U.S. Marshals are searching for the guy charged with pulling the trigger.
Ashley Sears explains why investigators say he made a bad decision all for his mom.
Most people show their mother's appreciation with a simple gesture. But what investigators say Frederick Harmon did only brought pain.
I wouldn't glorify it and say it's anything made for TV or movies.
In October 2023, authorities say Harmon and his mom, Danica White, showed up to this gas station in Hampton and Appleton when trouble began.
An altercation occurs inside the gas station. Mrs. White makes a purchase, but on her way outside the gas station, grabs some other items.
Prosecutors say the store clerk ran after White as she walked out with stolen ice cream cones.
Her son, Frederick Harmon, steps out of the passenger side of the vehicle and opens fire on the employee, killing him.
54-year-old Sonny Aram.
Yo. What the fuck? Let's see if we can get like 5 people to take this $5 challenge right now, man.
Can you play that again?
Yeah, I am, man. This is damn.
Most people show their mother's appreciation with a simple gesture. But what investigators say Frederick Harmon did only brought pain.
I wouldn't glorify it and say it's anything made for TV or movies.
In October 2023, authorities say Harmon and his mom, Danica White, showed up to this gas station in Hampton and Appleton when trouble began.
An altercation occurs inside the gas station. Mrs. White makes a purchase, but on her way outside the gas station, grabs some other items.
Prosecutors say the store clerk ran after White as she walked out with stolen ice cream cones.
Her son, Frederick Harmon, steps out of the passenger side of the vehicle and opens fire on the employee, killing him.
54-year-old Sonny Aramnuda died. When police arrived, they found 6 shell casings and melted ice cream on the scene. They say the mother and son were gone. The duo was charged in January 2024. 3 months later, White was arrested in Las Vegas. She was put on trial and found guilty of harboring a felon. But Harmon still is not in custody.
He opened fire on an innocent store clerk with a fully automatic handgun. He's dangerous.
The 20-year-old has ties to Georgia, Texas, Indiana, and Milwaukee.
At this point, he could be anywhere.
U.S. Marshals want this son to end up in the same position as his mother.
He's hiding very well, but somebody out there knows something about where he's at and needs to come forward so we can get him off the streets.
Trying to bond the pair by more than genetics. In Milwaukee, Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
Frederick Harmon is 5'6", goes about 160 pounds. Again, the 20-year-old has ties to Milwaukee, Texas, Georgia, and Indiana. If you know where he is tonight, call the U.S. Marshals tip line 414-297-3707, and you can, of course, remain anonymous. A registered sex offender convicted of victimizing a child has been on the run since January. He hasn't been checking in with law enforcement either. Fox 6's Ashley Sears tells us he might be hiding out somewhere nearby.
Sometimes it takes a bright light to expose darkness.
It's a danger to everyone, including the most vulnerable in our society, children.
U.S. Marshals say Diallo Fuller has been living in the shadows for nearly 6 months.
He is no longer reporting and is a wanted sex offender with a felony warrant.
His trouble began in July 2015 when he was staying at a South Milwaukee apartment. Investigators say his mother was babysitting 3 children at the time.
At some point in the early morning hours, he came home intoxicated and attempted to sexually assault one of the juvenile females.
The incident led to charges and a conviction. He spent 7 years in and out of prison. Fuller was released in 2023 and has been required to regularly meet with law enforcement.
Updating addresses, checking in, updating employers, sometimes significant others.
But in January, that all ended. A warrant was issued for his arrest. U.S. Marshals have been searching for him ever since. There's been urgency knowing his criminal past.
It's really just a litany of other sexual assaults. There actually isn't much other criminal history except that seems to be what he does.
The 27-year-old has several tattoos on his face and neck. He's believed to be in the Milwaukee area.
He needs to turn himself in. He has this criminal history, a propensity to do things like this, so you need to get this squared away.
U.S. Marshals say he can't stay hidden in the dark for long as they continue to shine light on this case. In South Milwaukee, Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
So to recap, Diallo Fuller, 5'7", weighs about 208 pounds. He does have ties to the Milwaukee area and is believed to be homeless presently. Again, he has several tattoos on his face and neck. If you do know
Community is mourning a young mother tonight shot and killed at a Minneapolis park. Several other people were also hurt.
Jeez, George Floydville. What a violent place. Shout out to Zachariah Sands of the Sea, man. We still need a few more people to take the $5 challenge, man.
Any update on the North Carolina mass shooting?
Maybe we got to get to that.
Community is mourning a young mother tonight shot and killed at a Minneapolis park. Several other people were also hurt. Witnesses describe a chaotic scene last night as shots rang out at Boom Island Park. Eric Shalou has the latest from police and those who knew the woman killed. Eric.
Yeah, Lindsay, late this afternoon, I've been talking with Tasha. It was her daughter, she said, 23-year-old Sajina Whiting, who was the victim. She told me her daughter lit up every room with her smile that she walked into. Now that family is planning a memorial and also taking care now of her 8-month-old baby daughter. Minneapolis police detectives are trying to figure out, too, what sparked this deadly shooting.
Yeah, did you hear it? Look, they still shooting. They just let off like 200 shots.
A passerby.
7% black. Minnesota is 7% black. And niggas make up the 60% of the homicides.
I heard the gunshots and ran over to Boom Island in Minneapolis and found people shot and in need of help in the park. We caught up with another man who was biking through the area when the shots rang out.
I saw people running out of the park and they were screaming and crying.
Hayden told us that he took cover.
I ducked behind, there was like a concrete wall. So I just laid down behind a concrete wall for a while. I just like laid down in the grass because I could still hear gunshots going off.
He left when the gunfire finally stopped and he could see first responders arriving to help the injured. Now to the investigation. MPD says at least 2 shooters were firing round after round. At the time, there were more than 100 people in the area, according to investigators. When the gunfire stopped, at least 6 people were shot at the park, including 1 woman who was killed. Her family tells us she was a 23-year-old mother who left behind an 8-month-old baby.
This is outrageous. It's more akin to a war zone, the amount of shell casings that the officers are recovering here.
We saw more than 100 crime scene evidence markers, many of them from believed shell casings left behind. CSI techs worked to process the scene late into Monday morning, looking for clues left behind. As MPD worked throughout the day, trying to figure out what sparked the gunfire, killing a mother and wounding at least 5 men who were rushed to the hospital.
I don't know what can motivate people to come armed to a gathering like this in the way that they did. It's sickening. And, we need people to come forward and provide some additional information.
I want to point out to you some of the changes that Minneapolis Parks and Recreation Board have made.
So they need people. So that means people are not coming forward with information. Salute to John Hancock, man. John Hancock in the building. So people are not coming forward. They need people to come forward. That's crazy. It's always nobody coming forward. Always. Always.
Here at Boom Island today. You can see over my shoulder that new security camera, police keeping tabs on the park. We also learned there'll be extra patrols here in the park as well. We'll keep checking in with Minneapolis police investigators as they try to figure out what sparked the shooting, and at last check, no arrests have been made. We're live in Minneapolis.
Jeez. Woo.
I can see him. Boom, 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 boom. What?
Tonight, for the first time, we are hearing from a witness to a deadly mass shooting. Those bullet holes show just how close his family was to the shooting that claimed 1 life and injured 6 others in Minneapolis. David Schumann has new details from that witness tonight.
At first, I thought it was fireworks. It was like, brah, 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 and then it just kept going.
Several minutes of terror, Cortez Rice says. He saw multiple shooters in Boom Island Park Sunday night with their faces covered.
I see everybody just start running. I turn my music down, and I can hear the shots going off. Brrr, brrr, bah, 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 bah.
Cortez pulled up to the park right when the shooting started. He was there to see family who were celebrating a birthday. One of his relatives' cars was hit with gunfire.
And I see the guy literally sitting on the edge of the window. His upper body is out of the vehicle, and he got a black ski mask on. All I can see him, boom, 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 boom. What? Like, this is insane.
23-year-old Stagina Whiting was killed in the shooting. The man, who appears to be the father of her child, wrote on Facebook in a post that's been shared hundreds of times, "I'm hurt. You my whole heart. Broken heart emoji. Y'all robbed me." 5 men were also shot. One of them has life-threatening injuries.
This is obviously traumatizing to a...
Yo, has there been when was the last time we did a show where there wasn't a mass shooting that night?
I cannot remember.
And guess what? Listen, the next time we have a big story about a mass shooting, like where it's like, national news and shit and wall-to-wall coverage, it's not going to be until a white dude do it. We've literally had a mass shooting. Some Negro has done a mass shooting literally every fucking night. Every single night in like the last month.
They've convinced They've convinced a certain segment of black people that white people are the ones doing mass shootings.
And it's literally the opposite. It's literally the opposite. Like, literally. That is so crazy. Like, we had the one last night. Where was that? With the party, 12 people shot in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta look on. We gotta do an update on that. Like every single night. Then the Chicago the other night where the preacher was, the priest was like complaining, like, how could they do this by my church? And like every single night somewhere in Black America, there's a goddamn fucking mass shooting.
A lot of people.
Cortez lost his own son in a shooting in 2022. He says being at the park Sunday was re-traumatizing.
When stuff like this happen, it just doesn't affect the families who lost someone, but it affects the people that's involved. There was a Caucasian family that was right there in Pavilion B, Shelter B, and they're sitting on the ground crying.
Minneapolis police haven't arrested anyone. City Council member Michael Rainville, whose ward includes Boom Island Park, says he's asked that the parking lot be closed every night at 8, quote, until it's determined to be unnecessary. The park was open as of 8:30 Monday night. In Minneapolis, David Schumann, WCCO News.
Breaking news out of Northeast Minneapolis. A massive police investigation is underway at Boom Island Park after multiple police were shot, or people rather, were shot last night. Then a chaotic scene at HCMC as victims arrived there. Police blocking the doors as dozens of people you see there were trying to get in. We want to thank you for joining us. I'm Alicia Lewis alongside Jason Hackett.
We're going to get to weather and traffic in just a minute here, but first we have team coverage on the shooting and the new information just coming into the newsroom. Michelle Beck is live at HCMC with what we know about the victims, but first let's send things out to Audrey Russo live on scene with what we know right now. Audrey.
Yeah, Jason, Alicia, it's still pretty much an active scene out here. There is an officer guarding this entrance to Boom Island Park. If you look into Boom Island Park itself, you can see caution tape woven through the trees. And in the last 10 minutes or so, I did see an officer making another pass through with a flashlight. Now, this is all for a shooting that happened hours ago at 9:30 at night. Now, I've reached out to Minneapolis police for more information. They actually just got back to me in the last 15 minutes or so saying that they anticipate putting out a press release. They just need to wait on getting it approved before it can go out. So we do know that more information is expected imminently. But let's just walk through exactly what happened here that we know of so far. So again, the shooting was reported at 9:30. Our assignment desk tracked 32 police units getting dispatched to Boom Island Park and 4 fire units. About a block away on Sibley Street, our camera crew saw police investigating a car with its doors wide open. And our photographer on scene also saw Minneapolis's crime lab around the park. Now, one witness in a social media video that I saw described upwards of 100 gunshots. Once police got on scene, they basically sprinkled the pavement with evidence markers. And in the background of our video, you can hear people crying and yelling, just obviously a very chaotic scene here. And the victims we know were taken to Hennepin County Medical Center. Police have told us multiple people were shot, but at this hour, we don't know exactly how many people or their conditions. That is something that we will be asking police when we have the opportunity to speak with them. Another question that we have, what exactly brought people to Boom Island Park? I took a look at the Minneapolis Park Board's schedule for June 1st. I didn't see anything listed, but again, that's just the city-sanctioned schedule that's posted online. That's another question that we'll have for police as the morning and the investigation go on. Jason, Alicia.
Definitely a chaotic scene there. All right, Audrey, thank you. And as we mentioned, the crowd from Boom Island Park headed to HCMC about 3 miles south as victims arrived, creating a large police response as well. Our Michelle Beck is live there this morning. Michelle, emotional moments really unfolding here in just the last few hours.
Oh, certainly, Alicia. And in just the last few hours, it seems a lot of the scene, what we saw back then, has changed. Right now, I don't see any crowd here, no law enforcement either. But take a look at your screen. Again, very different outside the hospital just hours ago. Our photographers first on scene around 11 last night describe how tense it was, especially with the amount of law enforcement appearing to control the scene. I could also see and hear people visibly upset as many walked up to the.
So now they at the hospital and they mad with the police. Now they're at the hospital and they mad with the police. Yikes.
Seen around 11 last night describe how tense it was, especially with the amount of law enforcement appearing to control the scene. I could also see and hear people visibly upset as many walked up to the hospital entrance. Also, people were embracing each other and were in tears. Now, just minutes ago, I heard back from Minnesota State Patrol. They tell me they were assisting the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. I reached out to that agency as well as the folks over here at the hospital, trying to see what happened here, to get the facts of what happened, and also to get the response about this whole situation. Back to you.
Oh man. Let's see.
Almost 8 months ago.
Let's see. Hickory. Don't look like it's no update. Catawba. There you go.
Thank you. Now, the street where this all happened, still at this hour, an active crime scene nearly 40 hours after law enforcement arrived.
WBTV's Jason Puckett has spent the day there speaking with neighbors. He brings us the latest from that community.
Yeah, Walnut Acres Drive here remains closed to anyone but residents on the street. Even they have to check in with deputies here before they're allowed to go down to their homes. We actually saw one person stop and say they were picking up a car from where that party happened. They were not allowed to go through. I'm going to step out of the way here so we can give you a little bit closer look at the scene here. There are multiple tents still set up in the roadway in front of the house. Catawba County deputies and others still gathering evidence from what they described as a more than 2-acre crime scene here. Now, as we've been reporting, investigators haven't shared many official details about the shooting at this point. But I spoke to a few parents of partygoers who were there. They told us the shooters came from the trees nearby and opened fire on partygoers. One of them said that their child had to run inside and hide. Now, they didn't want to go on camera or give their names out at this point because they're afraid those shooters might still be out there. I do want to note that the last official press conference, officials with Catawba County Sheriff's Office said they don't believe there's a threat to the wider community at this moment.
We don't believe that this was random in a circumstance that might endanger the community. All that we can see right now from the crime scene and the leads that we're following, it seems to be that those that initiated the shooting were focused on the folks at the party.
Now, some of those parents I spoke with said they might be more willing to speak freely about what they experienced and what happened to their loved ones after some of those arrests are made. We will, of course, bring you those updates as soon as we have them.
So they're not talking to the arrester mate. But then the dudes are going to just get bonded out the next day. So you still gonna speak then? I mean, like, I don't understand.
48 hours after a deadly mass shooting in our area, there remain more questions than answers. Thanks for joining us for your news at 11. I'm Siobhan Bryan.
And I'm Dalford Jones, in tonight for John Carter. Now, this was breaking news all day for us yesterday. That crime scene centered in a quiet neighborhood in the Mountain View community. This is in Catawba County, not far from Hickory, about an hour outside of Charlotte. Tonight, the sheriff's office, along with state and federal agencies, are continuing to comb through the area where more than 80 shots were fired. And we know one person was killed, 11 others were hurt. So far, no arrests have been made.
Our Michael Warwick has been following this story. He joins us now live from outside the neighborhood where that shooting took place. Michael, people living there are still wrapping their heads around how this happened.
Here we are 2 nights since this shooting, and investigators haven't left the scene looking for any clues that point them to the shooters and bring a sense of safety back to this community. As Catawba County investigators comb through the home fired on by gunmen, they pledge there is no threat to the public. A public in the Mountain View community paying close attention to the mass shooting without a clear motive.
That kind of stuff doesn't really usually happen around here, especially so close. It's kind of a little nerve-wracking.
Hopefully.
God, dog. This is what I imagine your friends look like, KB. Am I right? Huh? These your friends, KB?
Yeah, that's my third cousin.
Yikes. Yikes. Some weird looking white people, man. Yikes.
Especially so close. It's kind of a little nerve-wracking.
Hopefully they find out who did it so something like this doesn't happen again.
Police say the gunfire during a large house party killed a 58-year-old man, Sean Hood. 11 others were hurt. They believe at least 80 shots were fired.
I was really shocked because I've never heard of anything like that happening in this community, and I've lived here 25 years.
48 hours later, police haven't made any arrests.
What
The FBI is
changed,
now offering
lady?
a $15,000 reward, and investigators are asking nearby homes to check their cameras. While the assurance from police there is no public threat is relief to some, it's not for others.
Who's to say that they won't try to target them again?
It's a little comforting to know that it's not like I hate to say like a terror event.
Definitely make me sleep better at night knowing when they get put behind bars. Or
Not a terrorist attack. Don't worry about that.
And out here at the scene, police brought in portable lights so they can continue working into the night. They are hoping to speak to every single person who was at that party Saturday night into Sunday morning if they haven't spoken to them already. We are live in Catawba County. Michael Warwick, WETV on your side.
Okay, so another unsolved mystery. Another unsolved mass shooting with goddamn 1,000 people in attendance. Jeez. Wow. Unbelievable, man. Any final thoughts, man?
Nah, brother.
Thanks, Huck.
Thanks for a good show, bro.
All right. Same black time, same black channel. Out of here. Oh, God.